Hi everybody, just a super quick one today. I want to talk about front sprockets. I was changing this chain you'll see in a previous video, and I noticed that this front sprocket was quite loose on that spline, and I didn't quite understand why that would be. So I did a bit of research. Now a lot of you might already figure this out, but it was new to me, and I thought I'll post it to just to explain what's going on with this front sprocket, because most bikes, all bikes I've seen in the past, this front sprocket would have a giant nut, and you would be talking that down to over 100 foot-pounds to hold it on, and I couldn't understand why this one was loose. So I got the workshop manual out, and then I figured it out, and I'll just explain it. So this is supposed to be loose on there. The only thing that holds that sprocket on to that spline, if I come in close here, you see on that spline there's a little groove on there. So if I come over to the manual over here, I'll explain that to you. So obviously not to scale. So the spline has a little groove in it. So when you slip the sprocket onto the spline like this, obviously not that far back, you then have to put this retainer on. So what happens is this retainer, which also has the same teeth, however these teeth are half a tooth out of sync from the teeth on the sprocket. So when you put this on, say for example this was your sprocket on, and it was the screw holes are at 3 and 9 o'clock, when you couldn't slip this on in the 3 or 9 o'clock position. You'd have to slip it on half a tooth out of sync, and then once you slip it on and you turn it to line up the screw holes, you would then in effect be creating a solid ring, so this sprocket could not come off, but it would never be bolted in tight. It would always be loose, so it rattles around. When you take the chain off, you'll be shocked at how much that moves around, and it might freak some people out, but that's how it is. The only thing that would increase that is that as this is rattling around against the shaft, this will eventually wear, because this is like a pressed steel, and that's way harder than this. So this shaft will wear this out eventually, because this is only a sort of 8-pound replacement part. And then that theoretically, I don't know if it's ever happened, could wear the teeth out. But even then, this is never coming off, because the chain would be holding that onto the shaft, and when that's spinning, that'll center itself every time. So anyway, I just thought I'll show you that, because I didn't understand that myself. I couldn't quite figure it out. It's only when I've taken it off and had a look at what's going on. And in the workshop manual, they show you the spline with the groove there, and there's the new sprocket. You see at the back of the sprocket there's a piece of metal on the back. That's what you're screwing into, and it explains how it fits on. You see in this picture here, when you slip your retainer ring on and turn it to line up screw holes, you creating a solid ring that this sprocket cannot come off, but it stays loose on the spline. And then you come down here and you screw the 2 bolts, not forgetting to use some Loctite, 16 Newton meters, so not super tight, to lock that back on. And apparently these are changed quite regularly, because it rattles around, and because it's a lumpy V-twin, this will wear that locking ring out eventually. So every now and then you're in there, it's worth having a look at it. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on that. What do you think?